pretty insane. And kind of funny story. Like, this is like all the behind the scenes shit. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying it, but
he is the one and only Nick Wheeler.
Hey.
What's up?
Oh, Nerfin. How y'all doing?
Great.
Good. Very excited. Have to commend you on your lovely shirt. I see we have Fraser, and then it says tossed salad and eggs, which is, of course, the theme song.
Oh, yeah. It's it's a Ramones ripoff t-shirt, but it's Fraser. It was a toss-up between this and the Black Flag one that says Niles Crane.
Toss-up. Well, I'm glad we went with the Fraser shirt. Great show. We are so excited for you to join us today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. This is a blast. I'm loving all the background little Easter eggs to look at here.
Yes, we certainly have quite a few. We are like just my toy shelf, but okay.
Whatever it takes to not focus on this.
Stop. Oh my God, Milo. Well, we wanted to start today by saying you, my friend, are a calendar model. I saw that your month is up in the calendar, you and Dexter. So what can you tell us about your calendar shoot with your adorable doggy?
Well, you know who else is here?
Oh, goodness.
It's the centerfold himself. Yeah, so they gave me my birthday month. I actually turned 40 this year.
Awesome.
It's not so bad.
It's not so bad?
It's not so bad. I've been there for a little while.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, this what do you call it? a charity called Forever Friends reached out to me in Dexter about being in the Dino's and Dogs calendar. Dino's is a kind of a dive bar, but with really good food, just down the street from my house, actually. So we went up there one day and got to participate in a little photo shoot. Dexter got to eat some French fries, and he got to be in a calendar. At the ripe old age of 15.
Wow. Doesn't look a day over 14 though. Looking good, Dexter.
Right? Yeah.
He's so chill.
All right, buddy. He is. He's super sleepy. He loves being in the studio. He just naps all day. And of course, right as you guys were like playing the intro, he woke up. I'm hoping he doesn't have to go OUT during the stream.
We've had that happen on multiple occasions where a dog jumps in. It's that time. You do what you got to do. We'll hold it down.
Hey, man. Yeah, I can't control the children.
So true. So true.
I have to know. To almost a two-part question. What was the music scene like growing up in Stillwater, Oklahoma? And two, are you a big Almost Famous fan because of Stillwater?
Part two of your question. Yes, absolutely. That is a very formative movie for me. It's funny. It's like when you're watching a movie and one of the characters has the same name as you, you don't really, it doesn't really affect you that much. And so I didn't really notice, I'm like, oh yeah, Stillwater, whatever. But ever since that movie came out, when people interview me, they're like, Stillwater, so was it named after the band and Almost Famous? I'm like, yeah, that 100-year-old town in Oklahoma was named after Almost Famous.
There was a time machine. It was this whole thing. We can't get into it,
But yes, I love Almost Famous. A lot of things in my life are around Almost Famous. I love Cameron Crowe. I love Singles. All those Cameron Crowe music movies, love them. Love the soundtracks. When I first moved to Nashville, I met Marty Fredrickson, who is the voice of Stillwater. It's not actually Jason Lee singing. And that's probably one of the most that's probably one of the most starstruck moments of my life, was meeting the voice of Stillwater. That was pretty badass. To answer the first part of your question, there wasn't really a scene in Stillwater. It's a college town. It's the other college, the one that nobody talks about. It's the Cowboys. So smaller town. The fact that there's a college there is the only reason we have a Walmart, a Sonic, a Chili's.
You have a Sonic?
Like there's 3.
Last I checked, Gainesville then.
Yeah, I haven't been back in a very long time, but last time I was there were 3 Sonics. Yeah, there's really nothing going on there. There is I guess there's some bars and like there's some live music, I guess. Like it's more country and something called Red Dirt. I don't know if that made it out of Oklahoma. I don't know if it made it down to Florida. I did not participate in that scene at all. So for me, it was more just about getting out of there. So I think what drove me was not so much being a part of any scene in Oklahoma. It was about getting the fuck out of there. So
fair enough. Well, I was looking at reputable people that came from the same town, and it looked like I believe Garth Brooks also from the same town, and also James Marsden from X-Men fame.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah. I think he's from Bartlesville, but I think he went to school in Stillwater. And Garth Brooks went to school in Stillwater as well. I think he's from Yukon, Oklahoma, maybe. But yeah, he went to school in Stillwater, and they're very proud of him there. There is a house. There's a house that says Garth Brooks lived here 1987 to 1988. Painted on the front. 1 fucking year.
Wow.
Sorry, can I cuss on here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I think he played football or something there. Like literally just passed through on his way between being born and where he is now. Like is a blip.
Wow.
But yeah, Stillwater's very proud of that. Yeah.
1 year. They got him for 1 year. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
All the good stuff. Okay, cool. Well, we know that you play multiple instruments, but has there ever been an instrument that you've attempted to play that maybe you weren't as great at? Or is there an instrument that one day you're like, you know what, I want to take up the banjo? I don't know, whatever it may be.
I actually did that when I moved to Nashville in 2015. Like it was still very country centric. So I participated in some country writing sessions, and I ended up producing some of it as well. And I was like, you know what, like I'm hiring these dudes to play the banjo all the time. I'm just gonna fucking learn how to do it myself. And that 1 year, it was very productive. And I got kind of decent at the rolls, and I ended up like tracking a little banjo. But it's one of those things that like, if you don't stick with it, you forget. Like I couldn't do it now, but man, 2017, I was.
So do you have a door somewhere that says that you played the banjo from 2017 to 2018? Do we get the 1 year plaque?
I should. I got the thing. I don't know if they call it a ganjo or a banjitar, but it's basically a guitar with like a drum head body like a banjo. It's strung and tuned like a guitar, so you can just play anything that you normally would on the guitar, but it sounds like a banjo. It's kind of cheating, but it's fine.
Wow.
Yeah. I've always wanted to play the piano. I know my way around the keys. I'm not great at it. I can't do the whole 2-hand thing. It's one of those things I feel like I should have just learned when I was a kid. I wish I had been forced to play piano as a kid, because then I should be better at it now. Well, what I really can't do, and what I would love to do, I would love to play the saxophone. Anything having to do with like my mouth or like my breathing, I can't do. Like if it's just like appendages, I can figure it out. Mm-hmm. With enough like practice, I guess. When you get older, shit's harder to learn. Case in point, learning the banjo. But yeah, I never learned how to do anything like with my mouth. In school, I played percussion in the band. Like I didn't play trumpet or any of that shit. But man, I would love to wail on the saxophone.
See,
Wouldn't that be badass?
I did play the trumpet. That was my high school instrument.
Did you? Okay.
I sure did. I can like kind of remember the chords ish, but like I don't know. I was hoping that like as an adult it would translate like as a Jew to get to play the shofar. Cannot play the shofar, unfortunately.
Does not translate. Okay.
Cannot play a ram's horn. No. But yeah, saxophone would be fun. I feel like I would always want to do the what's the saxophone player from, what is it, the Lost Boys or something?
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
This thing.
Yeah. I feel like I'd learn just to do that in the streets,
Man, the saxophone sure has made a comeback, though. I don't know who's responsible for it. I don't know if it's Katy Perry or fucking 1975 or whatever, but like all those like 80s sitcoms, like Alf, for example, all saxophone.
Right.
Yep, there he is. All that shit
I think it was
saxophone, and it's
Careless Whisper.
amazing. It sounds great.
Careless Whisper.
I think it was Careless Whisper, and all the saxophone bros on like the street corners in New York just playing the opening to Careless Whisper over and over and over again.
As they should.
Fucking timeless, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Shout out to Wham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was wondering if if like the banjo like came with your HOA when you moved to Nashville. I also want to talk about the absolute amazing epic adventure that is going to be the When We Were Young Festival. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But are there bands that you would like to see on your own? Like if you were to book a festival, who would you book and what would you call it?
Oh man. My band has been fortunate to where we came around in the early 2000s when like a lot of the late 90s bands were kind of still doing their thing, like Everclear and Eve 6 and Matchbox 20 and like all these great bands from the late 90s that kind of spilled over into the next millennium, I guess. So we kind of get to straddle both lines. We kind of get to play with some 90s bands sometimes, and we kind of get to play with some 2000s bands sometimes. And I'm sure I could list tons of bands that I've never gotten to play with or see live, but we've actually got to do a couple festivals. One, for example, I don't know why they put this thing together. I looked it up recently. They never did it again, but it was us and I think Train. I think we were the only kind of current bands on the lineup. The rest of the fucking lineup, listen to this. It was live, Gin Blossoms, Fuel, Blind Melon, Everclear, Vertical Horizon, the Bodines. I don't know if you remember the Bodines. And fuck. It was insane, like unreal. Like rarely will I go like stand out like at a festival all day long that I'm playing and watch all the bands, but I made sure to show up like with, I got there with the sunrise and just watched fucking bands all day. It was amazing.
What a killer lineup. Are you kidding me?
Right?
Like chills. Like chills. That's literally my Spotify playlist. It's like, oh my God.
Right?
Gin Blossoms finds a way onto every Spotify playlist I have, and the Vertical Horizon too. But once again, if we could get our time machine that we were talking about before, I'm thinking every song from the Almost Famous soundtrack. So let's get all of those bands. I guess we could still get Sir Elton if he's available. We'll just make a quick call. And then we should get Stillwater. Yeah.
Oh, somebody actually made a comment. That was Liquid Soul 2014. Yeah, I was there.
Liquid Soul.
And you know what? Dexter was there too. And I think he actually had a real Ramones shirt on that day. So full circle.
Oh, Dexter wears merch?
Sometimes he wears clothes. He's basically a cat. He gets cold, so you got to bundle him up.
That's important. Keep him warm. Keep him warm. Yeah. So I guess another question, because obviously When We Were Young is this huge epic thing that's happening. So are you guys playing all 3 days? I know they keep like expanding it. Now I think it's a week or a month long. I don't know. But also, what bands are you?
It's all of October, every October, forever. No, I think they're doing the Coachella thing where they're doing 2 different weekends. I think the second weekend might only be 1 day. I don't know if I'm allowed to say. Oh, there we go. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but we agreed to do Saturday, Sunday, and another Saturday, Sunday. I don't know if there's going to be a 4th day, but if they do, we'll be there. Pretty insane and kind of funny story. Like, this is like all the behind the scenes shit. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying it, but they came to us and they were like, hey, we're doing this festival. We did it once in 2017. It was cool. We're going to do it again. Mike Kim's headlining. You want to play? And we're like, yeah, sure. We were supposed to do a bunch of shows in 2020. Some of them, Mike Kim was also playing, like Riot Fest, stuff like that. Obviously, those didn't happen. So, like, yeah, sure, let's do this. And then literally the day they announced the lineup was the first time I'd ever seen the flyer or heard of any other bands playing this show. And I didn't learn about it from seeing the lineup on like Instagram or whatever. I learned about it because my phone fucking exploded. Like everybody I've ever met in my entire fucking life texted me. And this is what was sneaky. They weren't like, oh, dude, this festival. Like all these people were like, hey, man, how's it going? And I'm like, I haven't talked to you in fucking 7 years. Like, what are you doing texting me? And I got a lot of those. I was like, something's happening. Then I got on Instagram, like at lunch or something, and I saw the lineup. I was like, oh, I see what's happening. Everybody's like starting like like they're playing like the long game here. Everybody's just reaching out, being like, hey, man, how you doing?
Hey.
In the wrestling world, we call that the hey, bro.
Yeah.
Where
Totally
they will text you and be like, hey, bro. And that is when you know something is up. They're going to ask something. They're asking that favor. We call it the hey, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, they haven't told us much more about the festival. So I'm like, hey, man, when that question does come, like, can I get on the list? I'm like, I don't even know how long I'm fucking playing. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Right. So I sure as hell don't know what the fuck you're doing. That's it.
Right.
So
I'm sure they could tell you. Yeah.
Right. Drive to fucking Vegas. I don't care. I may or may not see you.
Maybe, probably not, but enjoy.
Yeah.
Have a great time.
Good luck. Good luck waiting in that like on like digital line or ticket line or whatever. Like I can't help you. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Are there any bands that you're most looking forward to reconnecting with? Maybe that you haven't seen in a while?
Let me see that flyer again.
Okay, let's bring it up. Bring up the graphic. Okay. Oh God.
Oh my God, that was so fast. You guys are on your shit. You know, oh man, Taking Back Sunday we toured with back in 2009. Those guys are always fucking great. Haven't seen them in a while. Boys Like Girls toured with them in 2012. I think they live here now in Nashville, and so does Chris from Dashboard. But it's so funny, like a lot of these people have moved to Nashville, but I haven't seen them since I actually toured with them. Toured with the Main and Dashboard, the same tour. That'll be great to catch up with those guys. I'll be watching Jimmy Eat World. I've crossed paths with them a lot, but like I'm still kind of like a fan. Like they were around before my band, so I don't look at them as peers at all. Like they were around back in the 1900s. So, I mean, Clarity is a very like formative album for me. So yeah, I'll be watching that set. Man, so many. AFI, those guys are great. Paramore. I mean, yeah, this is going to be insane. And then fucking Avril. Like, come on, give me a break. This is insane.
Yeah.
303. We played a lot of shows with those guys back in the day. The Lindas, their dad, Carlos, has mixed some Reject stuff for us, and then some other projects that I've produced, he's mixed. So that'll be awesome to see him and to see those chicks fucking wail. Man, yeah, and I'm and then all these new artists like Jaden and stuff, like I'm a huge fan of that stuff. So this is going to be fun. Hopefully, you know what, honestly, if anybody I know is watching this, I'm probably not gonna see you or like hang out. Like I'm gonna be like busy watching bands all day. So
yeah, it's almost like the better question is which band won't you watch? You know, it's like
right.
Have fun not sleeping for a month.
That's the thing. People keep asking me like, how are they gonna do this all in one day? I don't fucking know. Like
we'll figure it out.
I mean, maybe they'll stagger some bands so you can watch like some of one band and some of the other if they're playing at the same time. I don't know. Like,
we'll see what we see.
It's not my job to figure this stuff out. Like,
they told me it was. They told me it was specifically your job, Nick.
It's my.
Okay, guess not. Wow, lies.
So something I've shared on this show before is that I have a guitar pick collection. Do you have a pick collection from other bands that you've played with? Like, are you trading picks?
I totally do. And let me see if I actually.
Oh my God! Did you hear that?
I heard it.
These
There's so
these
many.
are random.
Oh my God!
These are mostly mine, but these are random picks that I just have in the studio, and I wonder if I can find the one that I'm thinking of. I totally forgot that I had it. Shit, I might have taken it out because I actually just made a. Oh no, here it is. I don't know if you can see this, but it's my name in the Def Leppard font.
That it is. Very nice.
Yeah. I forgot that I made that. I found it the other day just randomly. But yeah, I have some picks from other artists. I've got some Def Leppard picks. I think I have a Prince pick from something. I think we had the same sound guy once, and so I think he gave me some picks. Awesome. Here's a pick from a band I just worked with called The Wild and Free. I don't know if you can see it. Wait.
There it is.
A bunch of bands leave their shit at my house, so I've got.
It's mine now.
And then I've got the fucking banjo picks. So there we go.
As you do. As you do. I heard it. I heard if you play with that pick, it summons Steve Martin. So.
I wish.
Yeah. Go ahead, Milo, and then
I was say. So again, you're talking about people coming over and leaving stuff at your house. What can you tell us about Wheelhouse Studio?
Oh yeah, so I've always, I've always been a bedroom producer, like ever since the late 1900s. Recording my random ska bands in high school. On my Tascam 4-track recorder, and that just kind of carried over into like every band I was in. I just was the guy with the stuff, and I loved recording. Went from that to then a multi-track mini disc. Remember mini discs?
I do.
Oh yeah,
those are the thing. And then I think I got my Adele in high school. Like, dude, you're getting Adele.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Remember that guy from the commercial? Sorry. Total controversy.
Yeah, right, didn't he get in trouble for smoking weed? And it's like, he says, dude, you're getting Adele. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Come on. So then I was recording on Cakewalk, and then I've just always had a setup, whether it's on the road or in a spare, like right now, I don't know if you can see, it's the spare room in my house right now. While I am finally like building a legit space that is separate from my home, my commute will now not be just the next room over. It will be 50 feet into my backyard. So I'm building a totally separate space with isolation, control room, tracking room, the whole thing. And yeah, it's just, I've called my space the Wheelhouse ever since I moved to Nashville, because like I moved here with the intention of not just being the guy in the band with the recording gear, but actually working with other bands and artists. So I was like, I gotta have a name. So Wheelhouse, because my last name. But yeah, I'm super fucking stoked. I'm excited to have a little work-life balance. I'm excited to have a space that's not just a spare bedroom, where I can actually have some isolation. The band that was here last weekend, I didn't know how loud my fucking laptop fan was when I was running Pro Tools. So if I was wanting to track a vocal, I was like, all right, you stay here. I'm going to run all of my shit into the next room over, which happens to be the gym. So I was in the gym on the weight bench tracking vocal, just so the fucking laptop fan wouldn't be, just so the laptop fan wouldn't be picked up in the microphone.
Right.
So yeah, it's little things like that. Like it's gonna be amazing. And I'm doing nerdy shit. I'm making guitar picks for it. I'm making some t-shirts. Absolutely. And I'm even making some coffee for it. A local roaster here in town will I haven't gotten to like, I'm not the status where I can get like a custom blend, but I can get one of their blends and slap my logo on it. So that's
we had someone on from Bayside a couple weeks ago. They're also playing the festival, and he makes his own coffee too.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
I get into coffee.
You do.
Today's the day.
So when I first got to town to Nashville, and I would go work in other people's studios, it was always a toss up. Like, you're like, okay, what's today? Is this going to be a legit space, or am I going to be in somebody else's spare bedroom? Like, I don't know. Like, you never know if there's going to be water, if there's going to be coffee. Like, I'm going to pride myself in actually providing good fucking coffee when people come work with me. And early on, people would like compliment me on like the coffee setup, and I'd be like, all right, like, this is something. I gotta see this through and fucking focus on it. So
come for the production.
The music too. Yeah, the music too. Whatever. But like,
but
the
coffee.
Gets
I love it. I like this question asking if you're gonna maybe produce, an album there for All American Rejects, possibly ?
That'd be awesome. We haven't even seen each other since February of 2020. Because we all live in different cities, and Tyson and I grew up in the same town, but the other two guys grew up in a different town an hour away that actually did have a music scene. And so then we went on the road, and we just always stayed on the road. And for the majority of our career, we've always lived in different towns. So when we're home, we don't really see each other. There's a group chat, but that's about it. So when I see them, we're doing a private show next month, and when I see everybody, that'll be like our brainstorm.
Oh.
Yeah, reunion. We'll be like, all right, so what are we doing? Maybe there'll be new music. Maybe we'll just play these nostalgia festivals. I don't know. Everything in between. It's all up in the air, and it's all a possibility. So I'd love to have the guys here. I kind of like the fact that like nobody I know moved to Nashville with me. Like, no friends, no I don't know. Nobody I know is here. It's clean slate. I kind of like having my zone, but I would love to have those guys here, especially in the new space. So we'll see.
Awesome. Well, speaking about your fellow band members, I think it's pretty great that you're 1 degree from The Office, where Mark Webb, I know, has directed music videos. And the big question is, which characters from The Office are you and your band members most like?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a good question. Believe it or not, I've never been asked that. That's one of those shows, man. I have a hard time like relating to a specific character. I'll watch Parks and Rec, and I'm like, I know that I am a combination of Ben Wyatt and Andy Dwyer. Like, that's perfect mashup of those two. I'll watch Modern Family, and I'm like, I am both Claire and Phil. Like, I totally relate to both of those people. Relating to The Office, I don't know. I mean, I do always like to crack a joke, and especially when I'm uncomfortable. So I do relate to Michael a bit in that way. Same thing with Friends. I relate to Chandler 100% because he just makes a joke when he's uncomfortable. Totally get that. I don't relate to Jim. I think he's a little arrogant. I know that's probably
controversial.
That's probably controversial.
Now, while you think about this,
that's a hard one.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So while you think about that, I'm going to ask you another one. Who would open for who? Would the Rejects open for Scrantonicity, or would Scrantonicity open for you guys?
Wow.
It depends what town are we playing in? Because if we're in Pennsylvania, I mean, we're opening every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. And who makes the better chili, do you think?
I know for a fact that Tyson is the chili cook.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay,
absolutely.
I guess who would be most likely to put a stapler in Jell-O from your band?
I mean, probably me. I play our Chris, our drummer. He has this thing about white creamy foods. He just can't stand them. He hates ranch. He hates sour cream, mayonnaise, all that stuff.
Huh.
So this was like 15. This was forever ago, and he still gets mad about it. We were doing a tour where we had like a wardrobe case. We put all our smelly show clothes in there, and there were drawers for like shoes and shit at the bottom. And one day, I got like all these little like miniature mayonnaise jars from room service. I don't know why I had so many of them. Maybe I collected them. I'm a big fan of mayonnaise and aioli and the things, all the sauces. So I just took all this mayonnaise unopened, like still sealed, and put them in his drawer. And when he opened it, he got so upset, as if I had put something of his in Jell-O. Like he got so upset. So I'd like to say me, but like I said, that was also like 15 years ago. I don't think I'd have the patience to like do all that now. But
it's a lot of work.
When you get next time you get to Chicago, though, you have to hit up the Office Experience up there.
I've heard about this. I thought about going just for that.
It's worth it. It's worth it. 100% worth it.
I drove to Chicago to see U2 play the Joshua Tree in its entirety. I would definitely drive to Chicago just for this too. I think they're about the same. But you know what I just found? I recently moved into a new house where I'm building the studio in the backyard. And so I've had all this shit in storage for years now that's followed me from Oklahoma to Los Angeles and now Nashville. And I finally have all of my shit under one roof for like the first time since I lived at probably my parents' house in my teenage years. But I found all of the Office memorabilia that I collected when we played Scranton on the Warped Tour in 2010, I want to say. I had a cousin come to that show, and I had him drive me around to fucking we went to Cooper's Seafood, we went to Alfredo's. I forget which Alfredo's, but one of them does exist. We went to the Steamtown Mall. We went to Poor Richard's Pub. All of the things. I have all these menus from like Cooper's and Alfredo's and shit, and I still have them. And I found them the other day.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So prior to us going on air, we were chatting, and you had mentioned that you're an late 80s, early 90s wrestling fan. Do you do you have a favorite, since we're going to talk about, we're talking music, do you have a favorite wrestling theme song, entrance song?
Oh man, theme song. Oof. Anything Ultimate Warrior, like that was my shit when I was a kid. Had the wrestling buddy. I remember the song being great. What was his song?
It was just like is
that was
a good impression of it? That's all I got.
I mean, of course the first one that comes to mind is I'm a Real American. Like I even had that as a ringtone for a while. I think I remember Hacksaw Jim Duggan having a good theme song too.
I can't recall that one right off. Do you remember how it goes, Milo?
I couldn't tell you, no.
Yeah. Okay. But we love Hacksaw, big fan.
I think British Bulldog had like a super like stuffy, like very proper, like English sounding song. Like theme songs are way different now. Like I feel like they used to be very like theatrical. Now they're badass, but like back then, like they weren't necessarily awesome. Like they were just like super theatrical and still fitting, but like I don't like.
Did you make it to like
Undertaker had a cool one too.
Yes, his is like gosh, how do I do the Undertaker?
I don't know how you would.
It takes 20 minutes.
I feel
to
like
get
his
started
was it was super like ominous, and it was just like it was funeral shit, which is so fitting and perfect. Like I feel like now like real like bands and artists do these songs, and which is awesome. I think that's a great way to kind of cross promote music and wrestling. But I do feel like Man, there was something about those old theme songs, kind of like old 80s theme songs with the saxophone. You don't really get those anymore.
Not enough.
And,
So,
now I'm kind of nostalgic for them.
oh, Macho Man with Pomp and Yep, that
Right.
Pomp and Circumstance. I don't think it's Pomp and Circumstance,
yeah.
but sure,
That
close
was
enough.
great.
That's a movie I saw.
I'll get Pump and Circumstance, yeah.
So, what would your theme song be? If you can come out to any song.
Oh man. Oof. We kind of got to play around with this a little bit. We used to get really nerdy about our entrance music, like when we would play shows, especially overseas. When we played in Ireland, I think The Boys Are Back in Town was our entrance music. When we played in Sheffield, of course it was a Def Leppard song. And then we got super nerdy about it, and we'd always love those. I think what was the one that I picked once? It'll come to me. My personal theme song. I do love the Dexter theme song.
Okay.
That was my ringtone for a while. I do love the Parks and Rec theme song. I still insert my bulldog's name into the theme song when I'm singing along.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, I love that.
Yeah.
So before, if you could write a theme song for a wrestler, who would it be for?
You can't do that on television. That's my theme song.
Okay. Now, when you come down the ramp, do you get slimed?
They can slime me afterwards. I feel like it would be slippery if they do it beforehand.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But yeah, if you could write a theme song for a wrestler.
or Doug. Those are the two.
Ooh.
Oh, we love Doug. Oh my.
None of these are like super badass, like Here I Come, like I'm gonna kick your ass theme songs, but they definitely fit my personality. So
well, that's what's most important.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So Milo, why don't you ask one final question and we'll go into our games.
So obviously 2020 was thrown out the window. You had an appearance at Universal Studios that was canceled, but you had previously played at Universal, right?
Oh yeah, tons of time. I feel like every 2 years they invite us to play during Mardi Gras, and it's a blast. Fucking love doing it.
Right. I've gotten to see you while you were there.
Oh really? Oh cool.
2017, I think was the. Anyway.
Okay.
So when you're there, do you get a chance to like go on the rides and experience the actual park, or is it all business?
Oh yeah. We've played a lot of fairs and shit in our career, and I used to love like getting to go on all the rides and eat all the fucking junk food. But man, I don't know. I'm sure it's age. I just can't do that anymore. But I do make an exception at Universal Studios because I still love roller coasters. Like, love them to death. There's something about, I don't think I could ever skydive, but there's something about that thrill you get on a roller coaster because, God forbid, unless anything happens, like you see exactly where you're going, you know what you're in for. And there's some sort of control that I totally love. So like, as a almost 40-year-old man, I can still ride a roller coaster and have a fucking ball. And what they do, they get us like a chaperone to like walk us around and like walk us to the front of the line. It's like super bougie, but it's one of the perks of playing Universal Studios.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Where was it? No, it was on Warp Tour and it wasn't at Universal. It was one of the Six Flags. I want to say like Buffalo or something. We got a chaperone or whatever to like walk us around all the rides at Six Flags, and we were on the Superman roller coaster, cutting the line. Everybody fucking hated us. And then we're climbing up that initial hill, and the ride just dies. Like we get stuck, and we're sitting on the hill, like near the top, for like an hour, while everybody's just like looking at us, fucking pointing, like, haha, serves you right, you assholes. Fortunately, that's never happened at Universal Studios, but yeah, I do still love those rides. You know, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but those are fucking quality experiences for sure. And what are some of the roller coasters? There's not like themed ones, but what are some of the roller coasters? Because there's one that's like red and yellow, I feel, that was just amazing.
It used to be. Are you talking like, I think it used to be the Dueling
It
Dragons,
used to
right?
be Dueling Dragons, right?
Now it's Harry Potter.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
no.
love that one.
Wait,
That's
it's gone.
Hagrid's.
It's gone. Now it's Hagrid's.
Right? Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone.
Right.
Demolished.
Right. I did love Dueling Dragons. That was so fucking fun.
And now they
I remember
have the...
going there.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I remember going there on tour, like when we were in a van, like killing time between towns, like going to fucking Universal. And I remember, you know, waiting in line for Dueling Dragons, and we did it over and over. We fucking loved that ride. That was great.
Yeah.
Now they have this new Jurassic Park Velocicoaster.
Velocicoaster.
It's
Cool.
insane.
And now,
Insane.
and now they're building a whole another park. So it's going to be
Jesus,
wild.
for what?
Epic Adventure. So it's, what is it, Milo? Is it Epic
That's
Adventure?
it. I think that's right.
So they're doing Fantastic Beasts.
Shit.
They're doing old school Universal monsters with like Swamp Thing and I'm trying to remember what the other ones are.
I love
Milo.
that shit.
Yeah, same. Who are some of the other ones, Milo? Do you remember the other? Oh, Mario. Super Mario.
Right.
Yeah, so it's gonna be crazy.
That's gonna be fun.
That's where you need to book yourself 2025.
Okay, I'm sure we'll do it twice before then. Those are the ones I love. Like I don't really care about superhero stuff or, like I said, like Harry Potter stuff. But man, when it's like Back to the Future or Super Mario or like just I don't know, just this like world that you can just like one be nostalgic about, but also just like, you know, get lost in. Like I'll always miss that Back to the Future ride, and I think it was The Simpsons for a while, and now isn't it like Minions or some? I don't know.
No, it's still The Simpsons.
Still The Simpsons.
Is it?
Yes, you're talking to huge like Back to the Future mega fans, so like this is gonna trigger a whole nother.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
It's okay. It's okay. But
there will be an escape room though.
Really?
A Back to the Future themed escape room at City Walk.
Shut up, for real?
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Wait,
Fair.
1, 2, or 3?
I'm the
all
second.
Encompassing.
Maybe
I
all
like
combined. I don't.
I like the 80s film too, so yeah.
I do too. And now as an adult, like watching for the story, the first one, of course, is the most timeless. But like, yeah, growing up as a kid, everything about how just animated and in your face the second one was, like, that was the most fun to watch for sure.
Yeah. Man. All right. Well, we're gonna have you back on just to talk about that whole thing.
I could go for fucking days. Yeah.
So can we. That's the problem. We'll never let you go. We're gonna run into the When We Were Young festival. So we have 2 games. This first game is a game of Would You Rather. There is no wrong answers. Whatever you pick to be correct is correct. And then we have somebody requesting to see Dexter again as well. So whenever we can see Dexter, if Dexter's awake, we would like a Dexter sighting. So all right, we're gonna bring up.
I'll wake him up at the end of this because he'll just sleep next to me while I'm working all day long. Like, and sometimes I'll even turn the light out and go downstairs. Like an hour later, he's like, dude, I didn't even know you left.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to wake him up when we're done.
No worries. All right. So here's Would You Rather. This is the first one.
Okay.
Would you rather incorporate an accordion into the band or incorporate a melodica into the band?
Okay, I have an accordion. It's on my list of things to learn how to play.
Okay.
So that by far, absolutely. I feel like anybody can like squeeze it and maybe do a little bit of the keyboard, but it's the buttons. That's what, like, whenever you see an accordion, like in a rock band, nobody's hitting the buttons. Like that's where the skill is. And I don't even know what they fucking do. So yeah, that's next on the list. Like I'll put the banjo away and get the accordion out.
I think it's a good decision. I need to know if Daniel Radcliffe, since we were talking about Harry Potter and he's playing Weird Al in the upcoming film, is he going to actually learn to play the accordion? Oh yeah. Is this breaking news?
Okay. Dude, Back to the Future, Escape Room, Daniel Radcliffe fucking playing Weird Al. I feel like I've been in a coma. Like, what is all this stuff that I
Good
don't
morning.
know?
I know.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. All right. Next one, Milo.
All right. Would you rather own a guitar that belonged to Prince or own a guitar that belonged to Eddie Van Halen? Speaking of Back to the Future.
Ugh.
Okay. This will also be controversial. But I wasn't really raised on Van Halen. Like I appreciate them, and I went through a phase, when I was, listening to a lot of like 80s and 90s hard rock stuff. But I mean, I grew up on Michael Keaton playing Batman, and that fucking soundtrack, Prince by far.
Yeah. Bat Dance, is that where we're going? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That scene where Jack Nicholson walks through the restaurant and just like paints all over everything to that song. Oh my God. Like,
yeah.
One of the best scenes in cinema history. Love it.
So I'm the type of person, like if I see something, I need to know everything. So last night I was reading
Oh, yeah.
about Marlon Wayans, who was supposed to play Robin had they made a third Michael Keaton, Tim Burton Batman together.
Shut up, really?
I know.
It was gonna be a Wayans brother?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and he still gets residuals from the film because in his contract, even though he didn't shoot it, he still signed the contract, still gets paid.
Goddamn right.
Living
Love
the
it.
dream. All right. So you pick Prince then. Prince is a good choice.
Oh, absolutely.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Not controversial at all. All right.
Yeah.
Here's the next one. This one's a little okay. Would you rather have to eat ghost pepper tacos before a performance or eat level 10 spice Indian food before you play?
This is triggering some memories.
Oh no. Okay.
I love both. I don't really have to sing much, so it would probably be the tacos.
Okay.
I feel like that wouldn't incapacitate me in a way that would keep me from performing, whereas
Say
the
no
Indian
more.
food might. I do love Indian food, especially whenever we go to England. I eat it like 5 times a week. There's just so much good Indian food there. And I'm like super susceptible to spice too, but I love it. It's kind of masochistic. Like everybody that, that's close to me knows, like, as soon as I have something that's spicy, like my face is just fucking sweating. It's that scene out of Along Came Polly when Ben Stiller goes to, I don't know if it's Indian food or Ethiopian food. It's a restaurant where he's eating with his hands on a date, and he's just like sweating profusely. And that's me every time I have one bite of anything spicy. But I love it so much. I will say, we were, speaking of the UK, we were playing a couple nights in London, and everybody had food poisoning from eating Mexican food in England.
Oh no.
Oh
God.
And some of the crew like couldn't function. They couldn't leave their rooms. They needed to be close to the bathroom. But I mean, that's part of my job is I can't call in sick. So like I had to show up. I think I sat down for a lot of the song. A lot of the set. I sat on the drum riser and played, but I definitely like barfed between every single song. So the eating spicy tacos for a performance was a bit triggering, but
sorry.
But I think I think if it's just spice, I think the tacos. I think that would just like make my mouth out of commission. I think I could function otherwise.
Okay. And if you're not sweating when you're eating spicy food, are you doing it right, guys? Come on.
I know. Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm sure all of that was TMI, but fuck it. Now you know.
Fuck it. All right. Next one, Milo.
Moving on to a better subject. Would you rather have Beethoven as a pet or have Milo from Mask?
From the Mask? Oh, man. Well, Beethoven can carry my whiskey. But I mean, Milo kind of reminds me of Dexter, honestly. And even the way he acts. Milo looks like he's got some Jack Russell in him, maybe.
I think it's
Dexter's just a whole he's just a whole mess of terrier. So I think just because he reminds me of my guy, I think I'd have to say Milo. Sorry, choice. Beethoven.
Sorry, it's okay. He's not offended. He's just fine. It's just fine. All right.
I did love Beethoven, but you know the dog I grew up with more than Beethoven was Bingo. Remember that name or that movie?
Yep.
Bingo. Was his name out?
That was a good one. Yep. They made a movie about him.
Oh, popular guy. All right. Had a song and everything. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather perform with the first band you ever saw live or perform with the first band whose CD you bought?
Well, the first band I ever saw live was the Nixons, who was a popular band from Oklahoma back in the 90s. And they played, I say recently, this was probably like 3 years ago now, up in Kentucky. It was the Nixons and Sponge. Those were the first two bands I saw live ever.
We had Sponge on here. That's great.
Shut up! Oh, I love them. That was the first. I crowd surfed for the first time to "Plowed" by Sponge back in 8th grade. But anyway, so I've gotten close with Zach Malloy from the Nixons, and I hit him up. I was like, hey, like, I can't not go to this. Like, the first two bands I ever saw live, I got to go to. So I drove up to Kentucky. You know, I drank some bourbon and I went and saw a show. And I got to go on stage with the first band I ever saw live and play with them. So I got to check that one off the list. But I got to say, sorry, buddy. The first CD I ever bought was Pearl Jam Versus. So I definitely have to say that one because I haven't gotten to do that yet. I will never get to play with Pearl Jam, but like that'd be insane.
Yeah, agreed. Great first album too.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I got that because I got it. CDs were a thing long before I ever got a CD player. I was hanging on to my cassettes for a while. Like I had the Walkman on my paper route, like riding my bike, listening to all my tapes. But man, so yeah, when I bought a CD player, like I had to join Columbia House. Remember Columbia House?
Oh yeah, for like 1 cent. Like,
yeah. For a penny, for a penny, you get 12 CDs. Yeah. So yeah, it was Pearl Jam Versus, the Metallica Black album, Siamese Dream, like all the good shit. Core, all that shit.
So since you mentioned Siamese Dream, another fun fact, if you know, Billy Corgan owns a wrestling promotion, NWA, which is based in Atlanta.
I think I did know this. Mm-hmm. What an interesting guy.
Right? For real.
What a fucking interesting guy. Yeah.
All right. So we have 2 more of these, and then if we can keep you for like another 10 minutes, is that okay, Nick? We're just gonna. Okay. Yeah. We have 2 more of these, and then Milo has some. Go ahead.
All right. So let's say you have to do a cover album. Would you rather do an album of songs from the 60s or an album of songs from the 80s?
You can get your saxophone.
Oh, 80s. Yeah, 80s. I will learn the saxophone for this. Yeah, 80s by far. Like I was born in 82, so I lived through most of the 80s. I have a lot of memories from the 80s. And I mean, it's fucking timeless. I mean, the 60s are timeless too. I just feel like every 20 years, the 80s just comes back, and I don't think that'll ever change. Like, I feel like when I started my band, the 80s were really big, like, especially the more hard rock stuff, you know, and now, like, the 80s are kind of back in more of the kind of like indie, more new wave kind of stuff. The 80s, it's so deep, and there's so much to digest from that era. Music, fashion, all that stuff, like, timeless.
All right. Yeah. So here's our final would you rather. Would you rather be Muppets in a music video? So all of y'all are featured as Muppets, or would you rather be in a music video where you're animated in a Rick and Morty style?
I've never seen Rick and Morty.
Okay, so we can change it. Rocco's Modern Life. I don't know. What you
Oh shit.
dealer's pick.
I mean, Muppets all the way. I mean, I've got them tattooed on my arm, so like, yeah, that's there forever.
Yeah, that it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Muppet?
I mean, I love Dr. Teeth. I mean, Animal's a blast. I like Fozzy. I mean, I feel like we have the same sense of humor.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody in the Electric Mayhem, I'm down with. Janice is rad.
I feel like I look like Janice. Like if I close my eyes and smile, like I'm Janice,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
I'm Janice.
Can you say, just wait till I tell the guys in the band.
Just wait till I tell the guys in the band.
There it is.
Good. Not the best.
Verbatim.
I'm not an impressionist, but just run it back. But yeah.
Neither am I.
Awesome. Okay. Well, so now, if it's okay with you, Nick, we got the Milo Beasley Show frequently asked questions. Milo,
Let's do it.
take it away.
All right. So we kind of already hit on one. So we're going to go ahead and skip to the second one. And this is one of my favorite questions. Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Have you had things happen?
I'm pretty oblivious, I feel, to that stuff. But I do feel like I've been around people who are not, and they all tell me, like, not the house I live in now, but my old house had some shit. Like, I feel like it was on haunted land. Like, it was like, I mean, it's fucking Tennessee. Like, we're on Civil War land here. So like, right. I feel like whatever was going on at my last house was, because it was a new house, but I feel like some old dude died there and he didn't leave. Like they built the house on top of him and he's just hanging out. I would go into rooms that hadn't been used or occupied in a while and smell smoke. And like, I'm super sensitive, allergic to smoke. So like any like little amount of it, like I'll pick up on. So that I did experience, but whether it was, other people that were staying there or people just passing through, they would tell me that they would see or feel or experience similar things. Like, and they wouldn't, these people didn't know each other. They weren't like trading notes. Right. So like, I do feel, I do feel like something's going on. I'm just fucking oblivious to it. And I've been told that like, since I don't really pay attention to it, or, the fact that I'm not that perceptive when it comes to that shit, they don't try to bother me. So.
All right. I was going to say, we'll send you some sage. Sage is in the mail.
Oh, I saged the fuck out of my new house when I moved into it. Yeah.
Good.
I didn't want that shit following me. And I've since, a couple people that have been to my old house as well have told me that the energy is like much fresher here. So
important. Very important.
Yeah. I don't think this land is haunted, knock on wood.
Right.
Heather, you want to take the next one?
Oh, okay. So in a movie about your life, who would play your parents?
Oh man. William Hurt and
asking the tough questions here.
Yes, right.
Yeah, that's hard. That's all I got.
Perfect.
I don't know. Yeah.
Works for us.
Yeah, I mean that's see, I like this question because it gives you an idea of what what the parents are like.
Right. Yeah, it's I feel like when you when you ask somebody like, hey, if they made a movie, who would play me? Like it's your chance to kind of see how other people see you.
Right.
I heard on the radio today, I don't know, some podcast, that Nickolas Cage didn't realize that he had a thing until he made Face Off and watched John Travolta pretend to be Nickolas Cage. And that's when he was like, oh, right. Mind fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, you never really know how other people see you. You know how you see yourself, right? I guess, or how you hope people see you. But yeah,
Huh.
that'd be trippy to just ask people like who would play me in a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, comment section, you're on. All right. All right,
All right,
Milo.
next question. Who is your favorite person to follow on social media?
Oh. I have Instagram. That's the only one I have. I think I do this thing where when I'm working, I leave my phone in my bedroom so that I don't get distracted. I was
Smart.
about to reach for my phone and look who I follow. You know, I love anything to do with dogs.
Better than people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I'm very. I only use my social media for like work and promoting stuff. But yeah, I do follow like a few fun like meme accounts and like dog accounts and shit. But then it's mostly like, oh yeah, I got Shithead Steve, I got Moist Buddha, all those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, some people that I've worked with in the past are, you know, usually post some fun stuff. Greg Wells and Butch Walker always post good, insightful stuff. You know, and some people I get that's where I get like a lot of like my news from, because they're like reposting stuff from Twitter and things
Right.
like that. I follow the SNL account. That's always got some cool, fun behind the scenes stuff.
Did you watch the Mulaney episode? Because oh my god.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I watched
Classic.
the first half of it.
It's still
I'm not caught up yet. So if there's anything that happened.
Okay.
The musical.
The musical's always great, but nothing beats Airport Sushi. That's my favorite one.
That's the one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what was like? Oh, so I know you mentioned that you weren't on Twitter, but today on Twitter, one of my favorite things ever trended. It from Mark Hamill was meeting a fan who wasn't verbal. And so Mark Hamill did sign language to communicate with the fan, and it is the most brilliant interaction. If you guys or anyone watching has a chance to watch it is everything. It is so wonderful.
Does he know sign language, or was he just gesturing? Or
no, he signed like yes. I'm not sure whether he necessarily knows outside of what he was signing, but he told the kid, you know, he was a Jedi, and he asked for it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment.
I love that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely, you know, 10-second videos on Instagram have definitely made me cry before. I'm not ashamed to admit it, and that would have done it for sure.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna look that up later.
It's the soldiers coming home videos that do it for me.
It's the soldiers coming home to their dogs.
To their dogs.
What does it for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking wreck me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have one final Milo Beasley question. Milo, I feel like you have to take this one home because you always.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've played with a lot of people. You've been to a lot of places, but has there been that one moment where you saw somebody, where you met somebody that your knees went a little bit weak, that your tongue went a little bit tied, that you absolutely
is this an Eminem rap? What do you
out about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think there's been a couple opportunities just, you know, that I've been super fortunate to be a part of, like the VH1 Rock Honors when that was a thing. They would have like, you know, more current bands play like classic band songs. We got to play a Def Leppard song. So of course got to meet all those guys. It was insane. But then like we were sound checking, and fucking Brian May and Ace Frehley were both watching us sound check. And I was like, oh fuck. Like this is next level. Like I felt like I was watching my life happen. I wasn't participating in it. Like it felt like kind of like a dream where you know it's a dream. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was insane. I remember, I remember we were doing, it was like one of the VMAs or something, and I think Aerosmith wasn't there, but Joe Perry was playing with Katy Perry, I think. And I just like turned a corner and like ran into him. I was like, oh fuck, it's Joe Perry. And like, he's literally dressed straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, looks insane, like in the best way. And I just was like, hey, nice to meet you. And I was like, couldn't think of anything else to say. I was like, cool clothes.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh, and fucking, I was coming home back to Nashville with my girlfriend at the time and our dogs, and I, went to get the bags. She walked the dogs and got to meet Steven Tyler. My dog has met Steven Tyler. I haven't gotten to meet Steven Tyler. What? Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that just totally unfair?
It happens.
This fucking guy. Yeah.
When our pets are cooler than us.
Fucking guy. Yeah. Right.
I just got to see. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, speaking of, I remember, I think it was that festival that I was talking about earlier that like had all the, great like late 90s bands.
Right.
I remember playing a show and then, hi buddy. Hi. He's 15. There's a lot going on in there. I remember being on stage and playing and looking over at the side of the stage and seeing my dog hanging out with the dude from Everclear watching us play. I was like, this is like, what? This isn't real life. This is insane.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, before we let you go, because unfortunately we just hit our time and Milo got to put his kid to sleep. Hashtag dad life. Nick,
same. This guy's going to go sleep on something else downstairs.
Oh my gosh. This has been so much fun. We have to have you back strictly to talk Back to the Future.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap this up,
I got to hear some wrestling stories next time. I got to hear who you guys have gotten to meet and fucking hang out with.
Done.
For sure.
Done and done.
Okay.
Let's set it up. You let us know when, and we'll be here.
Love to.
Any final thoughts you want to leave us with here?
Oh man, this has just been a lot of fun. I like just everything you guys got going on, the whole, I don't know, the vibe and like your aesthetic. I loved reposting all the flyers because they like make me look so fucking cool with all this like 80s neon shit in the background. I love it.
You're kind of cool. I'm sorry to break it to you. So,
well, and also like before I really got into music, like I was all about baseball and pro wrestling. Like that was my thing when I was a kid.
My life now.
That's
literally my life.
Of course, just like with wrestling, I only know baseball from like 87 to 93. It's like David Justice and Ryan Sandberg. Like that's it.
David Justice is my favorite player of all time.
Well, okay, so tell me this. So I grew up in Oklahoma. There was no professional baseball team within like 200, 300 miles of me. So I was all about the Braves and the Cubs because those are the two TV stations we got.
Same.
We got TBS and WGN. And that's also why I got into WCW wrestling is because what was the Saturday night show called?
It was called Saturday Night. So WCW Saturday Night was on at 6:05, which led directly.
It would always
into
come
the
on
Braves
after a
games at
Cubs
7:05.
game. Yep, exactly.
But now, if you could, would you go back in time and put all your money on the Cubbies? That's the question. I'll see myself.
They've won a couple World Series since that. Didn't they win in 2015? Like
no, they won in
Back to the Future. Oh, so close. So close. That's funny. But yeah, like I said, just like you guys just asking me to be on this show and not as musicians, but as fucking like doing what you do. I totally revered that, growing up, and I still do. And so it's, I don't know, just cool. I'm just really happy to be here.
Thank you. We're so happy you and our bonus guest, Dexter, which is obviously wonderful. Before we let you go, we're going to go over our upcoming guests that we have coming up for March, which it's crazy that it's March. So next week we have Burt Ward. He is the original Robin.
Shut up.
I know. Milo hooked us up. That's, I guess, his buddy, and it's happening and doing the thing. Thursday, March 10th. I wonder if he knows about Marlon Wayans. We should ask that. I think that should be a question. Milo, unless you already did ask that. Did you ask him
No,
that?
I did not.
Okay. I shall ask that. And then we have John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard. We have Josh V, who is a drummer extraordinaire. He's played with everybody. And then Tuesday, March 22nd, we have Tim Russ. He's from Star Trek. We also have Dee Wallace. She is from E.T., Cujo. We have Gary Puckett coming up, David Cook coming back, and Nick, we're going to have to do this again whenever you're available.
Oh, David Cook's from Oklahoma.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. We've had him on here once before, and he's a really good time.
You guys have great guests. I'm so fucking like thrilled and honored to like be on this list. This is you guys you're doing it.
Well, thank you. And I guess until we meet again, Nick, Dexter, Milo, from all of us here to you, we will see you guys real soon. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Bye.
Bye.
Later, guys.